Hey guys, JR here from the Forge Brotherhood Bunker Hill. Today's topic is fatigue. Yeah, this one really hits home with me because I'm just tired. I'm just exhausted with life. You know what I mean? How many can relate to that? How many can really understand what it is to just be exhausted and worn out? From the daily fight that is our lives here on planet Earth. I think it's real easy to get exhausted with the things that you're trying to do right and do good. Maybe you're someone like me who struggles with codependency to a certain degree, and um, man, you just really lose a lot of energy and a lot of hours of the day worrying about other people, and trying to help other people or trying to guide people, to a place of enlightenment and understanding. I feel like I spend so much of my life planting seeds of wisdom through, the ministry of mentorship and sponsorship and, things like that. And I'm not complaining about that at all. I feel very blessed to be part of the conversation God is having with a lot of people. But at the same time, I have to have very distinct boundaries as to what is important to me, what is not important to me, and really what is important to my own sanity and my own well-being. It's so easy to get lost in, the fight of trying to do what's right and the fight to try to not be the person you were yesterday, but to be someone better. All that can be extremely exhausting. And, what do we do? What do we do when we find ourselves in that situation? We find ourselves staring at that stuff in the face. How do we get to a place of rest? And what I always say is you're never going to really find the peace and harmony you so desire in your life until you learn how to let go and let God be God. What I have found in my walk is so many times I'm trying to do God's job for him. Like he's not moving fast enough, so I need to step in here and I need to try and help the situation and try to, make things happen that I feel like should happen. When really all I'm doing is getting in the way of God's plan for some of the people that he puts in my path. Sometimes that's his plan for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm no different than anybody else in this scenario. I'm out here in the trenches, struggling, trying to get it right, failing most of the time, just like everybody else. God has called us to a higher calling and called us to be separated and to be a lighthouse to our community. That process can take a lot out of us. So having very distinct boundaries is really what gets us where we need to be in this fight of, trying to rest. The Bible says that the joy of the Lord will be our strength. And I think so many times we need to remind ourselves that, we can do all things through Christ that strengthens us, not the world, not stuff, not your wife, husband, boyfriend, uncle, aunt, Christ. He is where we get our strength. And he is where we need to be trusting and depending on his strength to be our strength. The Bible tells us that when we're weak, he is made strong. That never really made a lot of sense to me, but the longer that I'm in this game of recovery and progressive sanctification, the more that I understand that it's a marathon, man, not a sprint. And there are just so many things God is trying to do in my world if I can just get out of the way. And getting out of the way is where I find the rest, the peace, the harmony, and the satisfaction that I so desire. Thanks, guys. See you next time.